Hi guys, welcome to my channel again. Today
It's my thought.
no, no, no. So today I'm not alone. I have someone with me, this woman. And she'll be helping us out with this topic because this topic is beyond me. I don't know what I'm doing in that area. But yeah, meet Esther. Esther.
Hi. So yes, Vanessa's Diaries. My real name, I know my parents gave me, is Esther. I'm a nurse in Germany. I've been working here for about 4 or 5 years. And yeah, that's basically what I should say.
Kusha. Well, welcome. So today we're talking about nursing, moving to Germany as a nurse. And because I don't know anything about that, I said let me bring people that know something to come and tell us what it is. So if I told you're a nurse here in Germany, you've been here for 4 to 5 years working.
Work experience for 5 years, but existing here 6 years.
Oh, existing? Which one be existing here?
Living in this country is a job. Yeah, it needs to be recognized. It's not easy.
Oh my god. Okay, super. So what has been the nursing field like for you generally?
First of all, I was disappointed when I came to Germany. I thought I was going to meet this whole awesome career that is like what you get in the US and probably partly in the UK. When I got here, I felt it was. Well, after a while, after spending time here, I actually started seeing that okay, even though it wasn't what I was expecting, that they have their own kind of opportunities for you to grow. Not necessarily what I would like, but so far it's been working. It's a lot of hard work, I must say. It's a lot of hard work, but there are smart ways to avoid the physical work.
Okay.
Which, yeah, if you're following me on my channel, you will know by now. I'll mention some of that.
You gotta know. So there's a lot of content on nursing in German nursing and all that.
Yes, yeah.
Here in Germany. So check out her YouTube channel if you're interested in that. Yeah, I'm definitely interested in that. So just check it. It's very important. I just want to give you correct information. It's not these things that me as well I'm telling you things that I don't know. So, and yeah, nursing is a field I think is super, it's lucrative here.
Yeah. I wouldn't lucrative means that you earn a lot.
Yeah, but you know, earning a lot is also relative.
Okay, yeah, but at least it will keep you above the average. It's keep you above the average.
That is equal to lucrative. I don't know what your definition of lucrative is. But as long as they're above average, you're okay, you're good. And there are lots of people who would want to move to Germany as a nurse. Do you need to have your nursing certificate already done, dusted before you come to Germany to be a nurse?
Yeah. So following the new laws going on now, at the time I moved to Germany, these laws were not available. So anybody you could actually just finish school and move to Germany again and start looking for jobs. But now they are requiring at least 3 years working experience.
As a nurse?
Yeah, as a nurse, at least 3 years working experience. But the beauty of it is that when you're preparing to move here, because you need to learn the language, which will come to later. Learning the language takes most people at least a year. So I advise you to start applying after your second year of experience. So at least after your first and a half, after your first year of experience, I advise you to start applying. So that by the time you are towards the end, you have accumulated your 3 years working experience.
Ah, that's true. That's true. So it's not like you wait until 3 years, bam, then now
start. No, you don't have to.
Oh, that's cool. And this language, at what level are you supposed to get to for the language?
So to communicate in Germany, the basic language level required is
like German is now genge and shall be to be
Amen.
Amen. My God is bigger. Don't worry.
Sorry. Yeah. So to communicate normally in Germany, you need like a B1. But because of this is professional communication, we need a B2. So even when you are applying for the job, you can start applying with a B1 certificate, and then you are required to get your B2 before your employment is confirmed or something like that.
So last, the requirement is B2 actually. So
yeah, it's
despite however it is going to do, when you're arriving, you should have B2.
You should have your B2. And for many of African countries, you can't even get a visa without your B2. Some countries allow you to move in with a B1 because B1 is umgang, like it's what everybody is pretty much what everybody can speak and understand. But for the profession itself, you need a B2. And if you're coming from many third world countries, the embassy won't even talk to you until you have a B2.
Well, this is it's not a joking matter. It's not a joking matter, but then it's worth all the efforts that is put into.
Yeah, in the end, at least you have the stability. You have the stability. You're sure. You're almost 100% sure, as at the time of making this video, you're almost 100% sure that you will have a job waiting for you here.
Oh, that's cool. So what other documents would one be looking at?
So basically your school living certificate, like your secondary school or your high school education is important. We have that and see it. We also need to see your certificate from your nursing school, your transcripts. There are actually a little more documents we might need from you, but then we will ask you for it when we are ready for it. Surely you need your notification letter if you're coming from Nigeria. That's the letter that from the National Midwifery Council of Nigeria, confirming that you are a nurse and that you have a registration number and your license. Surely we'll need all of that. But over time, we have had cases where different countries are asked for different kinds of documents. So you might need another confirmation letter from the NMC or maybe an employment certificate from your previous employer. But that will only be necessary depending on the country you're coming from.
Okay. Now you've been saying we will need. I mean, I know you're not in the government. So
you never know.
So what is this weed that I've been talking about?
Oh, okay. So I currently work with an agency. It's called the Gesundheit Personal Net, and we work to get mainly health workers from outside Germany to move to Germany and get a job. So what we do for you is help you with the language school, because you have an online language school, prepare you for your job interview, get you an employer for your job interview. When you get your job, we make the process of you moving here quite smooth. So you don't have to bother about translation or most of that, really.
That one's 10 and nose. Because I wish my field, for example, has something like this. It's going to make all of these things a lot more easier, because now you have a guide, you have someone putting you through all of that. We'll be putting a link to that agency in the description. So if you're interested in that, you can reach out so that they can help you, do all of these things. So you're not spending money on things they're not supposed to be spending money.
No. And you can also reach out to me if you want. Pretty much, yes. You should actually reach out to me because you should actually go through me to the agents. They won't respond to you until I have vetted you. So actually, that's this thing. That's actually how it works.
And you reach out to her. Queen Esther, we are gonna have to put the Instagram handle.
Yes.
YouTube handle. The email. And if you have questions.
Yes. And I will let you know everything about the cost, because it's not for free. Although, depending on the country you're coming from, Kenya, South Africa, the Philippines, Mexico, or any of the EU countries, we are going to be getting your services for almost free, depending on what we have to do for you. But most of what we'll be doing for you will be free. So, depends on where you're coming from. I'll be sharing with you what the cost is like.
Cool. Follow who know road. That's the importance of all this. Just follow who know road. Now, I also understand that your foreign nursing certificate, maybe I don't understand it. I think that your foreign nursing certificate would probably have to be verified here in Germany or something. So what's that process like?
Okay. So this is mostly what the agency will be doing for you. But I'm just going to explain what's pretty much going to be happening. So what we'll do is to get your documents, like I explained earlier, your transcripts, your certificates, your notification letter, your school living certificates, and any other thing we ask. And we'll be taking it to the Regierungspräsidium of the state where you will be working. I think the best way to say it is a ministry. So the ministry head office, some sort of the state where you'll be working, and then they will vet your documents and let us know if you need more experience to be integrated into the German nursing system, or just to let us know what you need. In many cases, they will write us back a letter, or write you back a letter, telling you what you need to do. For instance, in my case, I was told I needed 4 months experience, 2 months in a geriatric ward. Another, I'm not sure exactly how it was split, but I know I needed experience with the geriatrics, experience in psychiatry, and also some experience in ambulance Pflege. Ambulance Pflege is hospice care. So I needed to get another month in hospice care. And that's because my training before now didn't really cover these areas. So these are the kind of things you'd be told. I was told I needed a B2 at the time. I didn't have a B2. So I was told I needed to get my B2 done. And yeah, so they kind of send you a recommendation letter. And when you're done fulfilling that, then you send all your certificates and proof that you've done all of this back to them. And then they send you after a while. And with also with a fee, you'll be sent your urkunde. The urkunde is the certificate, your nursing certificate showing that you are now a nurse in Germany. But all of this process takes a while, almost a year. So that's why it is important to start early to start applying.
Cool. So at the end of the day, all the many other questions I was going to ask, it looks like what about doesn't reach you? How about all of all those questions answered already? Because these are the things that the agency is going to be doing.
Yeah. I actually made a video some months back on how I came to Germany. In my own case, I didn't come with the agency. And that was because at that time, there wasn't the agency at the time. They were still working really on small scale. So I explained all of this I said now on that video. So in case if you're feeling like, oh no, I don't want to go to an agency, I want to do it myself, I run through the hustle myself, feel free to check out that video. I promise you one thing, is going to be more expensive and more stressful. And also knowing that you are learning the German language, it will be difficult for you to communicate with any German on a profitable way. Like you will always be on the receiving end. One of the things that the agency does for you is that we stand like a shorty for you, and also help to interpret things for you, so that it's like we're almost like a lawyer to make sure that you're getting the best out of this thing.
Because it pays them that you're getting a good deal.
Yes, because we know that when you get a good deal, you're going to refer us, one. Secondly, when we are able to deliver you as a proper nurse to those places, they are going to now want more nurses. They're going to trust us for the quality of nurses. So we make sure we are vetting both of you, that this thing is going to be a good working.
So there are some cases where you have nurses from outside of Germany who have families. What is the possibility of people like that to come to Germany with their family?
Okay. So one of the beautiful things about getting a nursing job here is that it qualifies you to get the Aufenthaltstitel. That's the not permanent residence, but the residence permit first. And with your residence permit, if you are already married, it actually gives you the opportunity to invite your family. Even though if you're moving from outside the EU, we don't always recommend that you bring your family almost immediately, because you will need time to settle into the system. But who are we to tell you to stay away from your wife and your husband?
No.
Bring them over as soon as you can and be happy with it. And probably all of you will help yourselves getting used to the system. But especially if you have children, I would advise take your time, because after you get used to the working system, you also need to get used to the schooling system for them. They also need to, but they will have to learn German for them to move here and all of that. So, yeah.
So that means that when someone comes here as a nurse, then the person can then do family reunion for their spouse and kids.
Yes.
And of course, nursing is not only one that is to do nursing.
No. yes. I have male nurses that already asked me this question.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay, so what are salaries like? Because money is very important. What is that? I think it was like a range.
Yes. So, like I said earlier, working as a nurse here will keep you at least above average. When I say above average, at least keeps you above the poverty line. Or at risk of poverty in this country. Yes, it actually keeps you above that. So when you move to Germany first, you are likely not to work directly as a nurse unless you have completed the requirements for your recognition. Unless you have, but even when you haven't, you can still work as a nurse. You only just have to earn less. As it stands now, if you're working as a nurse helper, you'll be earning somewhere between let's say 2,000 and 2,500 euros every month. Brutto is the gross. your gross salary.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's supposed to be as a nursing helping nurse. But when you finally get your Uakonda, which is the certificate as a nurse, you will be upgraded to somewhere around 3,200 to 3,000. Let's just say 400 for a start. 3,400. But this does not include what we call the Zuschläge. Zuschläge are like additional income or additional incomes that you get because you're exposed to infection. So your employer gives you some kind of benefits for that. Benefits for working on night duties, benefits for working on holidays. That is if you work on holidays, benefits for working on a night duty on a holiday, those kind of things. So
benefits.
So by the time you add all of this on your salary, you're likely to even earn more.
Cool.
Yeah.
And how long does it take for one to move from that 3,000, 3,200 level to move beyond that and go above?
Oh, that's very dependent on the facility you are connected with. So if you are, depending on where you're working and what you're exposed to, if you work in a place where you're very safe, so you choose to work in a praxis, go like a GP, a general practitioner, like in a small office, you are less exposed to hazards. One, secondly, you are not working night duties, you're not working any of those. So all of those benefits, first of all, might not be yours. Might not be yours. But if you're working with older people, there's actually an additional income for people who work for older people, like another money on it. But like I said, it really depends on your employer. And I would advise you, when you start working with your employer, at least in your first month, ask them for you to see what their own plan is, so that you are not in one place for 5 years. That's not normal. Usually they should have like a printed document to show you what the growth is like. Yeah.
Very important. Now, another thing I'm always interested in asking is how you handle, as a Black nurse, I imagine that wow. As a Black nurse, I imagine that you have certain experiences that you want to tell us about. So what is it like being a Black nurse here in a predominantly white society?
Yeah. Okay, so there are two things. There are two factors that affect you as a Black nurse. And one is the way patients perceive you, one, and the way your colleagues will perceive you. So from patients, I would say it is mostly good than it is bad.
Okay.
First of all, I think they're all in need of help, so they don't really care. They don't care something at that time. But I know there are many times when I probably walk up to a patient and the first thing they do is they don't look at me like, who is that? I have to kind of call them back to reality. You know, so there are those times when maybe a patient is overly vocally aggressive to me because they feel like you should go back to your country. For real, someone has told you that. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Or sometimes it's good in that because many German people actually admire your brown skin, as they actually like to be like your kind of brown. So when they see your skin, they really admire it. So you're likely to get a lot of compliments like, you look beautiful, I love your skin looks lovely. So you hear that many times. And they have those things where they say, a scar won't be so obvious on you because you're brown. So they really admire that. They're like, oh, such a beautiful skin. You get that. And you also get the perverts who feel like probably because you're Black, they should touch you wrongly. I've had a couple of those. So yeah, there are those things. There are those things that affect you. Even though I like to say, you're going to enter the system, just come with an open mind. Yeah. Don't come afraid of what will happen. Just come free. And when it comes to my colleagues, wow, I've had very mixed reactions. But when it comes to younger nurses or younger co-workers, doctors and nurses, they are more receptive. Yeah. They are more open to these ideas and everything. But if you have an older colleague or a boss or something, I remember one time I was working in this station, not to mention your names, and I was responsible for a certain section of the ward. And then a doctor, we call them Oberarzt, it's like the chief doctor, wanted to make a change on the patient's medication. So at the time we were outside, we were celebrating something outside, a farewell party for one of our colleagues. So while we were doing that celebration, he came in. I was like, oh, who is in charge of so and so room? The chief nurse there was like, oh, that's her. And he was like, who? First, he saw me. He said, no, her, she. Then I moved closer to him. He was like, you mean her? Again. There are those kind of things that just make you feel like, first of all, for nursing in this country, many nurses moving here from Nigeria, Ghana, you're first of all overqualified for the job. I promise you, overqualified for the job. Because many of you are going to come with your BScs, come with your post graduate studies, those 6 months, 1 year, 2 years things you're doing. Some of you even have a master's. And you're coming to a system that almost everybody is just in nursing school. 90% of nurses have almost only the nursing school certificate. Then, okay, some of them have now gone ahead to do postgraduate. But having a bachelor's is not a thing. Yeah. If you have a bachelor's, they're like, why did you have to do?
You are doing too much.
So, like, for instance, my bachelor's was not even recognized for my work for my certificate.
Oh, man.
So the bachelor's is on his own, he's standing on his own. So those kind of things. So when you now think of that, you're like, why? Why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? And your kind of education, especially for those of us in Nigeria, your kind of education is very wide. You're learning pharmacology, you're learning deep anatomy, you're learning pathophysiology really deeply. So when you see a disease, you can literally tell how it started, where it is going, symptoms you should expect. So when you meet a patient, you are almost always smart. I don't know if I'm speaking for the nurses, but my alumni are cool. Nursing school are cool. But really, we are taught that way. To when you come to a patient, you can literally tell, what am I expecting? Where am I going? So in many cases, you're thinking like a doctor in Germany. And then for someone to speak to you like that, or to refer to you as if you were lower. So you have to prove yourself again and again in order to get that kind of respect. But like I said, this is not everywhere. There are places you will go to and they'll give you accolades, like, girl, you're good. You know, do that. Like, oh girl, yes sir, you should go. Like, for that kind of, you're the person for this kind of thing. You can handle stuff like that. So yeah, there are those.
Yeah. That's why I always say that when we move to new countries, especially to a country like this, it's important that we are open-minded. There's going to be the bad, there's going to be the good, there's going to be the ugly. But because if you are in your mind, if you've programmed your mind to see the bad, you will only see the bad.
Yes.
So why do that to yourself when you could see some really nice, like having great could be really helpful, and that way you can even enjoy the job, because
the job is stressful.
Yeah,
if you can make friends on the job, good for you. But yeah, and I even forgot to say, one of the things that I believe that Germans take very seriously is collegial relationship. So they don't just want you to be good, they want you to be friendly. So if you're not talking, you have your guards up. I was there, it was you will have even more terrible experiences, because people will just stay away from you. Because they feel like, why, and again, having a black, oh god, this is deeper. This is another thing altogether. I actually almost got a query for this. Being how I am as a black person, my voice is deeper, my voice is stronger. So when I'm assertive, I come off to them probably as violent. So I have to consciously reduce my tone, consciously smile more when I'm talking, so that they don't feel attacked. Because when I look at you, I'm like, what's that? The person feels like, she attacked me. She attacked me. So I can't do that. So instead of me to act like, what's that? I'm going to be like, why in the world did you do that? And I was like, in my heart, I'm like, how dare you?
This already feels like it's a lot of work.
Yeah, I remember one time I had a patient. Also, I don't even know. The patient we were supposed to see, but before we could get to him, he had a crisis. He started shitting. So I felt like, oh, I should do that. But because in Germany, I can't administer drugs until the doctor agrees, especially in those kind of situations. And the kind of drug I needed to administer, I needed the doctor to certify it. So I went to the doctor. I need to get this. I told him so that he's on the page with me, on the same page with me. I was like, so I'm going to get this, I'm going to get this, I'm going to get that. And the nurse beside me said, no, we're not going to do that. At that moment, I had an option to tell her. I had the choice to tell her, why in the world are you? Like,
Excuse me.
but that was not the time, because if I did, it was going to become a huge feud. And if it becomes a huge feud, I'm the black girl, and I'm most likely the more violent person in the room.
Exactly. Exactly. I tell people that, see, anywhere that you go to, first of all, remember that this is not your country.
Yeah.
You see, don't go and be fighting fights that you can avoid.
Let it go.
Avoid it. Let it go.
Let it go.
Then if something happens, I feel that if something happens and it gets to the point of, let's say, they need to call the police or something,
You will explain that.
you will explain, no? You know, explain yourself to the end, even if you are not in the wrong. Now, even at the end of the day, the police might maybe be on your side, I know.
Yeah.
But you
don't need that.
Oh yeah, you don't need that on your record. You don't need that. You don't need to create that
drama.
Yeah. So if you can avoid it, avoid it. Doesn't mean that you not be a pushover.
No.
Yeah, you
don't be. You see the way I said this? Don't be a pushover. Don't do it. Don't.
I know that I don't think that you start, just like with every other place. How you start is how you finish.
Yeah.
So if you come, maybe not how you finish, but most often than not, if you come with please, oh, help me, I'm at your mercy, you're most likely going to have to continue doing it like that.
Yes.
But if you come knowing that I know that, like you said, that the nurse from Nigeria is most likely overqualified.
Yeah, because you have a bachelor's, you have this.
So just believe in yourself. I know what I know. You understand? It's not that somebody should come and intimidate me because the person is white or because the person feels that they are better placed.
Yeah.
So know that in your mind, that you know what you're doing, and you know what you're doing. And don't try to make a point.
Yeah. Oh,
you just do your own thing and go.
Know when to walk away.
Yeah.
I don't know if I told the story on your Instagram channel one time. I had a patient who flipped off on me because I asked him, when were you born? But because I looked at him straight in the eye, he felt attacked. And he flipped, started throwing things around, started pulling everything out. I told my colleague, if anybody should meet both of us outside arguing, I'm going to be the one at fault.
Yeah.
Because one, I'm black. Secondly, I'm the nurse. He's the patient. Mm-hmm. So what I did, as he was throwing things around, I was saying, thank you. Everything together. When he was done, I told him, that's the door. When you have to leave, you just take your right and you find the door outside. And he was screaming and I was like, I'm not the one. Wrong day, devil.
You're not gonna see me, mommy. You are not gonna see me.
But I have colleagues who will flip out too and shout and to be cool. I just don't want to be the person there.
Yeah.
Because you already need to. You're already doing so much to prove yourself.
Don't just spoil it. Don't just come and get shot. Anything that you don't need to prove, just leave it. I do agree with that. Anywho, thank you so much for giving us all these small exo and all of that. And we'll sure put all the links on the description so people can reach out, especially for the agency, and people can, start the process of coming to Germany.
Yes.
This country is a country to be. That's not... Let's leave all the extra problems that you can have. You could have worse.
Yeah, it could be worse.
It could be worse. So thank you for being here with us.
Thank you for having me. Okay.
All right, guys. I'll see you next time. Have a fantastic day. Ciao, ciao.
Bye-bye.